What's up, YouTube? It's your girl Tay again with another video, and today I'm going to be talking about how you can afford an apartment in today's economy. I'm going to give y'all some tips and stuff like that has helped me along the way. But before we get into this video, y'all like, subscribe to my channel. If you're new here, hey, what's up, what's going on? And to all my returning viewers, thanks for tuning in. Okay, y'all, so if you're just tuning in to my channel, my name is Tay, and I make videos about the lifestyle of Job Corps, foodies, hair tutorials, trauma, all that good stuff, okay? I talk about the hustle, the grind, and all that. So, I made a video a while back about how I got my apartment through Job Corps. Now, I've been on my own since I was 18, but I officially moved on my own when I was 21 years old. And I got my first apartment through Job Corps. And I'm going to tell y'all that I didn't know nothing about buying an apartment, paying bills. I never had bills in my name, never paid any type of rent, mortgage, nothing like that, all at 21. I moved away from home all by myself. I moved to a whole nother state and I didn't know nobody, okay? So I know a lot of people are scared to do that because they don't know nobody and stuff like that. Baby, I stepped out on faith. So the stuff, and then I'm gonna tell you what prepared me for this. Now, this is not everybody's journey. This is not everybody's life. This is just mine. The struggles and the hardships and the hindrances that I was going through back in my home state is Georgia. I was dealing with so much. I was just dealing with just left to right, just obstacle, trial, tribulations, hindrances, blockages. And it was this saying that I used to stick by: the things that you have went through prepared you for this. Okay, so the stuff that I was going through back at home in my home state prepared me for the stuff that I was going to be dealing with in my future, in my next life, okay? So when I started searching for my apartment, Job Corps do not give you an apartment, okay? I wanted to make that clear. Job Corps did not give me an apartment. I had to look for an apartment on my own. Okay, so what I did was I went on apartment list, apartment guide, Zillow, apartments.com, rent.com. I went on these apps and these websites looking for apartments in the city that I was living in. I told them, like, hey, this is what I'm going to do. This is what I want to do. It is going to be harder for a lot of you to get an apartment if you're trying to get an apartment back in your home state. Here's the thing. When I worked, when I had my 2 jobs at Job Corps, yeah, I could have went home with my little $3,200 back home, but I knew them little $3,200 was gonna be gone just like that. It was gonna be wiped out, and I wasn't gonna benefit and reap the benefits of what I really wanted. So, in today's economy, y'all, you got to get creative. Like I said, I did CNA, culinary arts, and I did business administration. I chose CNA because I knew I was going to have a job anywhere I go that was going to be consistent income. Okay, I'm gonna be honest with you. I never wanted to be a CNA, but I knew I was gonna have a consistent income because that was part of healthcare. I was gonna always have a job. And when I did culinary, that specific trade complemented that because you have dietary, that's in, you got business, office, and, activity. You got all those 3 trades complement each other. Okay, so first of all, you got to think outside the box. You got to get creative. I was already networking with people before I even got to my second Job Corp. So I was already networking, reaching out to folks, letting people know, trying to figure out this. So these were my plans. And how I used to operate in an ABCD plan. If my plan A didn't work, I went to plan B. If my plan B didn't work, I went to plan C. If none of my plans worked, okay, I just let stuff play it out sometimes. Also, I incorporated prayer. Now, I don't necessarily call myself just a spiritual person or whatever. This is just kind of like how I was brought up and what kind of like stuff I know. You should be more or get more intimate with God or whoever you believe in, all that. This is just, what I believe in. And that kind of like how it works. Sometimes you got to pray and ask God for favor, supernatural favor over your life. And so that's all I knew. So I did not just do this with my strength alone. I had to pray about it because here I am moving to a whole nother state and I don't know nobody. Okay. A 22-year-old girl moving 4 states away in a whole nother state. She don't know nobody. God is good. Now, I'm not going to tell you I haven't went through, because I have. Number one, do not be ashamed to get on Medicaid and food stamps. I know in today's society, people in social media like to brag about being fake rich or so rich, or if you ain't paying this amount of much money in rent, then you really ain't got it like that. If you ain't paying this amount, then you really broke. People tend to forget where they come from. People tend to humble themselves. People do not really know how to humble themselves. Listen, hear me, baby. God had to humble me. I went from making $8 an hour as a CNA to $22 to $21 to $27 an hour as a CNA. I've seen girls make $30 an hour as a CNA. So I looked up choosing CNA as a career. It's not a career that I want, but sometimes you got to do things in life you really don't want to do to get where you really want to be. Okay. Another way that I got creative is I always had a hustle. I always had a grind. I used to do hair on the side. I used to do Uber, Lyft on the side when I had 2 cars, when I moved on my own. I always kept a second job a lot of times. That's another way how I accumulated more money and was able to survive. And me personally, I can't speak on other people, but I don't have children. So that was less of a hassle there. But trust me, I was on food stamps. I was on Medicaid because I used to stay sick a lot. Not ashamed one bit. You can go to if in your region, because I know everybody's region and stuff is different demographically. So I used to get certain resources that city, that county, that state, what they offer. Different states offer different type of programs and stuff like that to help you with rent, to help you with bills and stuff like that. When I first left Job Corp, I went to a private landlord because I don't have credit. So it's hard, when you just right out of high school or when you just got out of college and you never really built credit and stuff like that. My best bet is to go to a private landlord, because a lot of times those private landlords, they're more laid back with the background checks and the credit checks. Some of them do that. Okay, some of them do that. I remember my very first apartment when I left Job Corp. My very first apartment, I paid $475. My cable was free, my water was free, and the only thing I had to pay was rent and lights. Like when I tell you, I looked up, this was back in 2017. Okay. So yeah, with me being by myself, that's how I did. I just got creative. Another thing I did was when I initially first left Job Corp, Earl C. Clements to be exact. I had 2 jobs. And then I just really worked my way. I saved up money. Another thing is, hey, this just my life. I had people that just came to me. I mean, you can call it favor, you can call it blessings, I don't know. But there were people who just came and offered help to me. I didn't know them from a can of paint. People just came and offered help. People just showed like real love or whatever. People just like came and helped me. I remember when I first moved to Job Corp, when I first moved out into my own apartment, I didn't even have a car. Okay. I caught the public transportation bus. Okay. I didn't even have a car when I first moved out on my own. I didn't get my car till like 5 months later. But when I first moved out on my own, I didn't even have a car. I remember one of my instructors, I'm not going to call his name, but one of my instructors came and picked me up, took me grocery shopping. Had food for like 3 months. Didn't even have to go to the grocery store no more. I had food for like months. Okay. And how I used to survive like off the food, like how I used to save food, I cooked like a big meal, right? And I just eat on it for a week until it's gone. I used to make chili a lot. I used to make some chicken chili a lot. I eat on it for a week until it's gone. That's how I used to save my food, or that's how I used to like keep food in my house, because I wouldn't just keep, buying groceries. I would just cook this one big meal and I eat on it for a few days or weeks or something like that till it's all gone. I know that sometimes that get boring to some people, that get tiring to some people, but that's just how I did when I started off, because I was in survival mode. That's all I knew or whatever. And then there was times where stuff started to get harder. I started to struggle. And being by myself, and it got frustrating knowing that I didn't have family. So, how was I able to survive in the economy in the way it is now? My bad. So like how I was able to survive is just like off of strength and like prayer and just my hustle. And just like when people was like just coming up to me, there were times where I didn't have no dollar to my name. I'd be at a grocery store and people just walk up and say, "I'll buy your food." I remember one day I had to think about if I wanted to have pay a way to work or if I wanted to buy me some food. And I remember going down to this Mexican restaurant right by my house. And I was asking this lady and I was like, "Hey, I'm not from here." I was like, "How much is this food? Is it good?" And she was like, "Oh, it's good. You'll like it, And I'm talking about right when I'm finna get ready to pay for my food, the waitress came up and said, "You ain't got to pay for it. She already paid for your food." I'm like, "What?" So just stuff like that, kind of like how I got through. When COVID happened, oh my God, I really... Listen, when COVID came, y'all, I was like going through. I thought I was going to faint and pass out. I'm like, "Lord, get me out of this." I was going through. I'm not ashamed. I know I talk about the hustle, the grind, baby. I'm not ashamed to tell you, I have been on food stamps. I have went to food pantries. I have been on Medicaid. I did not care. All while having my job. Being a CNA, I took whatever help that I could get, because sometimes when you're not taught stuff and you just go off the strength of what you know, it's hard for you to navigate because you in that survival mode. Like, this all I know. I know about the hustle. I know how to grind. I know how to get some money. I know how to do this. It was times where I was getting my credit right. I had good credit. I had this. I had that. Then stuff started going downhill. I had a car wreck. I lost my other car. Um, there were times where I've been a few months behind my rent. Well, I ain't gonna say a few, but it was times where I've been a month or two behind my rent. My landlord could have kicked me out, but he didn't. He showed grace, even though we had our issues, but he showed grace. And when they was giving out those stimulus checks and stuff, when they was giving out that government assistance for COVID, and when certain people couldn't work for the COVID pay and all that, I took advantage of all that stuff. Sometimes you gotta, do what you gotta do. And I'm paying for it right now. I'm paying for some of it right now, but yeah. So that's kind of like, my advice and my tips to y'all. I know everybody's different. I know different states are way more expensive demographically. But what I will say, for those of you who are at Job Corps, who in Job Corps, CNA is a good trade to take, because I'm telling you, we are in high demand. We're going to always be in high demand. You're going to always have a job. No matter where you go in the United States as a CNA, you're going to always have employment. Okay? If your CNA is in good standing, you're going to always have employment. I know CNA is not for everyone. It's not for me either, but I do it. Okay? I pray and ask God to give me patience and strength every day. Sometimes it's you really having to control your emotions in this field, and a lot of this stuff in this field is not right. It's a lot of crazy stuff go on in healthcare. So yeah, that's how I've been able to maintain for real, and I just thank God. Listen, I know I made a video about how I made $3,200 at Job Corps. There's been times I ain't had no water. There's been times I ain't had no lights in my crib. Went through that for like 3 months, straight darkness. I used to eat noodles at a gas station. I used to take showers at work, real life. And I never let nobody know. And I worked at night, so didn't nobody know I was taking showers at work. Okay? I done it. I'm not ashamed to say it, because I had to go through, because I brought it on myself, and I couldn't tell nobody, I need help get my lights on, I need help somebody. No, because it's crazy how when you up, when you balling, when you hustling, when you doing good, when you on your grind, people congratulate you. Oh, I see your hustle, I see your grind. And that's what was going on at the time. People was coming to offer me help because they liked it, my hustle. They liked it, my grind. I used to have people come up to me. They were like, man, I'm going to look out for you because I see you. I see your hustle. I see your grind. I like what you're doing. I like the fact that you don't never let nothing get you in the way. I like the fact that you don't let nothing knock you down. You keep getting back up. I used to hear all this kind of stuff. But the minute I fell off, the minute that I slacked, the minute that I started struggling, people looking at me different. The minute that I just needed a little bit of help. Okay, this is why a lot of people struggle with help. This is why a lot of people struggle with, just asking people for stuff. You know what I'm saying? Because the minute that you fall out, people look at you different. Yeah, you can't pay your bills. Yeah, what happened? Something done happened. You chasing behind the dude. They try to blame it on everything else, when sometimes people just struggle. People just fall off. People get depressed. People get overwhelmed because you get so caught up in the hustle and grind and stuff. But when you don't know how to balance that out, when you don't know how to separate the two, you get caught up in just making money. Yeah, you know how to hustle, you know how to grind, you know how to make money, but do you know how to keep it? Do you know where to invest it at? So where you don't want to have to keep working so hard. Yeah, the hustle and grind is cool, but then that shit'll burn you out. So now what you got? You know what I'm saying? That stuff will burn you out. You get overwhelmed. And that kind of like what happened to me. And I was just like, man, I can't crash out. I ain't finna crash out with other things that was going in my life and what I was dealing with. I didn't know that I was going to be going through all this stuff I was going through. I just knew that, hey, I want to better myself. I'm not on this same stuff no more. I'm finna put all the past behind me. I moved away to a whole nother state. I'm wiping all this crazy stuff out. I'm on some whole other stuff. I'm on some getting money. I'm on some out the ways. I'm on some ducked out stuff. Like, and people want to keep you where they knew you. Oh man, I've had so many people from Job Corps keep bringing up stuff I did at Job Corps, bringing up stuff they heard I did at Job Corps. People back home that I used to kick it with back at home. Oh yeah. People try to like talk to me and make it seem like they've been cool with me. I had people from Job Corps ask me money and never liked me, never hung with me, stuff like that. I'm like, man, you never liked me, you never hung with me. Like, what is you talking about? You know, then when you don't give into the advances, people try to make it seem like, oh, I'm capping on the internet, I'm lying, I'm this, that, and the third. Man, that's why I say, man, leave people confused on this app. Internet, TikTok, so leave folks confused, man. Folks weird out here. You know what I'm saying? And so, yeah, those are my tips as to how you can survive out here in this field. Come up with a plan. Okay, come up with a clear-cut plan. A lot of my stuff was faith-based. I just stepped out on faith. I just went with the flow. I had an ambitious type mindset. I wasn't scared of nothing. A lot of people feel like, how the heck that's so brave. How the heck you move out here by yourself? That's just what I did. And that's not for everybody, and that's cool. That's cool if you don't want to move 4, 5, 6 states away from your hometown. That's all right. But with me, I didn't never have a support system. I never had that type of people to look out for me like that. So I had to create my own lane. I had to create my own motion. So that's kind of like what I did. And I just asked God to, just help me, guide me, because I didn't know nothing. Like, I ain't know nothing. Like, I ain't know how to pay a bill. I ain't know how to get lights in my name. I didn't know nothing. Nothing. I ain't know nothing about life insurance. I ain't know how to get insurance on a car. Man, I ain't know nothing for real. Everything was off the strength of just learning as you go. Like, real talk. And it's even harder in this generation. And I'm telling y'all now, if your mom and your dad say you can stay with them and you 30 years old, stay with them. Don't be ashamed because you still staying with your mom and you 30 years old. People try to shame that in today's generation. Baby, rent is way too high. Folks want you to pay 4 times the rent. They want you to make $3,200 every 2 weeks. Man, this economy crazy, especially for the young people. The young people, we struggling bad. It's the young people that I'm really scared of, because I got twin brothers right now that's 20 years old. You feel me? I got twin brothers that's 20 years old. I got a little sister that just graduated high school. Man, I fear for them sometimes, because it's like, it's so hard. These kids just not getting out. They don't know nothing about no credit. They got to get credit up. You got all these apartments, want this, that, and the third. They want 3 times the rent. How you want a 21-year-old to make 3 times the rent? Come on, man. Are you property people? Y'all sick, man. So yeah, I went the private landlord route. I knew what I was doing, because I know I ain't had no credit. I know I ain't have no job history. You get what I'm saying? When I left job, I've been at Job Corps for the past 1.5 years. I've been at Job Corps for the past, really 2 years. I don't have no job history. I graduated high school when I was 18. I didn't go to Job Corps till I turned 20. You know what I'm saying? Like, I turned out, let me see. I was 19, just turning 20 when I went to Job Corps. My first one. So yeah, I ain't have nothing. So I knew, I was like, man, I'm finna go the private landlord route, because they ain't gonna be asking for all that extra behind crap. Still to this day, 1-bedroom apartment. I ain't got no kids. I'm single. I'm not married. 1-bedroom apartment. You're like, people try to shame you for having a 1-bedroom. You got people out here who ain't got no house. You got people out here who can't even afford one. You got people out here who are ashamed the most normalest stuff on this social media stuff. Don't never let nobody make you feel bad for doing what's best for you. I'm telling you. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. Like, that's what I did. And those are just my tips for y'all to, you know, how to maneuver in life and get your apartment and how I did it and stuff like that, because this economy is just too freaking crazy. Okay, so yeah, y'all like, subscribe to my channel. I will put all my social media accounts in the description box below, and thanks for watching.